Hi, my angels. We have Claire, we have Trisha, we have Dee, we have Justine in the house. Hello. Oh my gosh. How exciting. I have been so excited to dive into this specific process with you guys. Some of you know it so well and are inside of our programs doing this, and some of you are completely new to my world as well. And I really want to. We have so many amazing humans that are also watching the masterclass all over the world. And I really want to dive into our process. So, everybody's joining. I want you to drop something in the chat. What's one word? How are you feeling? Coming in. What are you coming in? Are you coming in tired? Are you coming in hot? Are you coming in excited? Are we coming in nervous? Are we coming in apprehensive? For those of you who are new to my space, I am always diving into this interactive vibe because it is what helps us to heal. I don't know who iPhone is, but hello, iPhone. I'm not sure who you are, but we're going to be checking the chat as we go through this because I really I've never actually done this where I've like written down this methodology and spoken to it in confused confused, oh no, and spoken to this piece in so many different levels, right? And I'm just so excited to be able to dive into this with you guys today and answer any questions that you have and chat through everything content and happy. Yay! Happy and excited, excited, amazing. Amazing, my loves. Okay, so before we dive in, I want to drop us all in. So I want to ground everybody because when we come into this space, like I really want the emphasis to be that this isn't just a class, like it is really an invitation, a permission slip to become the woman that your body has really been begging you to become, right? Like, oh, just even saying those words, I feel like that is just so juicy when we look at it in that concept and we're just like, oh wow, okay, there's a calling for me, right? And for those of you, each and every one of you that is in this space right now, something has led you here, right? Yes, some of you are in my programs and some of you are brand new and you're just like very confused as my sound isn't working. Oh no. Oh no, can everybody hear me? Yeah, you guys can hear me. Okay, amazing. Okay, good to know. And so I've just completely lost track there of what I was trying to. But I really wanted to speak to this piece around how this whole healing journey is such a reclamation of self. Like we can really dive into all of the fads, all of the trends, all of the test kits, all of the supplements, all of the things, that everyone on TikTok is trying to sell us or everyone on Instagram is trying to sell us, when ultimately it's this homecoming, right? It's this ability to be able to go, okay, well, yes, there's a physical root cause, but there's also an emotional root cause. And there's also this concept of like who we are being as we move through this, right? And so before we start, I'm going to do a call out to see who is going to turn on their cameras for us because I love being able to see your faces. So if anyone, I understand if you guys are driving, but if anybody else is able to turn your cameras on, there she is. So good, Els. She's like driving and she's got it on. I love it. I love to see your faces. I love to be able to teach and like see what's landing through your facial expressions. And I'm gonna ask you guys to also dive into the chat and be like, yes, this makes sense, right? Because as we're moving through this process, as I'm teaching this, there's going to be some things that you're going to be like, oh my God, I've never thought about it that way. And some things you're going to be like, yeah, tick the box, I've done that. Because realistically, so many of the women that come into my world and into these spaces, like you're already looking after yourselves to a certain degree. And it can be really frustrating because you're like, okay, but I'm doing these things, but nothing's working. And the way that I teach and the way that I present, this journey, which I'm going to show you and speak to as we move through this, is it wasn't the thing outside of myself that healed me. It was how I showed up as a human. And like this is where this juicy, juicy work of who we be is more important than what we do comes into play. But before I dive in, everybody who is available to, I just want you to close down your eyes for a second. I just want you to arrive in your bodies, maybe for the first time today, maybe for the first time this week or this month. Some of you maybe have never slowed down enough to actually really reflect on what can we actually feel today? What is alive in our system today? And as we sit here and we take a few deep breaths just to ground into this space and to be open to what you're about to receive, the magic of this space, the other women that are in here, the downloads that you're about to receive, can we start to notice what's alive in the body? Can we start to be excited about this concept of healing and our healing journeys? Because for so many of us, we can come at it from this lens of, oh, I have to fix something. Ah, I'll be happy when this. And when we can really come at it from the lens of, wow, what a privilege it is to play the game. What a privilege it is to be in these bodies today. What a privilege it is that we get to pour into ourselves day in, day out. Feel that in your body right now, right? What a privilege. And very often we can be on these healing journeys and we can be like, oh, but I'm doing the things and it's I got this opportunity to be here. Can we breathe into that? Everybody just take a big inhale through the nose and a nice big audible exhale out through the mouth. Couple more like that. Inhale through the nose, breathing life force energy, healing into your body, filling up. And exhale. Release, let it go. Oh, one more like that, everybody. Inhale. And a beautiful exhale out through the mouth. Delicious. And when you feel ready, opening up the eyes, coming back, dropping in a word into the chat right now. Like, how do you feel now? What's shifted? What's shifted just based on being in your system, slowing down for a second, right? Listening to the words that I have just said. You're relaxed, calm, content, delicious, right? So delicious. And so the reason why so many of us go on this path and we're like, as I mentioned, like, why haven't I healed yet? What's going on? I feel broken. Optimistic. Yes, Diana. Yes, I love this. And I feel like you're brand new to this world. You're brand new to my spaces. And I feel like when people come in, they're kind of like, what is this chick on? But then it's also like, oh, yes, this is the missing piece starts to come in, right? And I love this because it's like, so many of us are like, okay, if I haven't healed, we create this narrative that like, I'm broken. And it's like, we've never been broken. And I say this, we have just been given surface level strategies for a soul deep issue. Right? Els is like, holy shit, yes. Don't crash the car, babe. Because we are a whole human. We are not a gut to be fixed. We are not skin that needs to be healed. We are not just a body that has all of these things wrong with us when it comes to, and I'm going to share with you images of what my world used to look like. And you're going to be like, what the hell? It's like, we get to leap. We get to change identities. And if I can give you one juicy nugget from this entire time that we're going to spend together, It is, if I can change your belief within yourself, then I have done my job. If you leave going, oh my God, I was put on this planet for something so much bigger than being stuck in my suffering and being stuck in these symptoms, then that is the greatest gift that I can give you. It is shifting that belief. Because when I was deep, 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 deep in the depths of my health issues, and I am going to bring this to life for you in a second, I thought that there was no way out. I thought that this was it for life. And I was that woman that was just like, oh my God, why is nothing working? Right? Why? What's going on? And I was coming at it with this like, oh, this force, right? This real, I was like a train coming at it. And I kept coming at it with this really intense energy of like, I have to fix it. And so this today, really, I want to give you the methodology behind how we can wake up, how we can reignite ourselves in this process of really starting to come home to ourselves, right? And this specific methodology, I want to preface this. My God, do I want to preface this? It doesn't just heal bodies. You know, everybody comes and they're just like, I want to heal my gut. I want to poop better. I want to have better skin. I want to have more energy. I want to be vibey like you are, Tia. Like, literally, I had someone hire me last week because she's like, I want energy like you. Right? And it's like, we're not just healing the bodies. I have helped clients fall deeper in love with their partners. I have helped women in actual fact, two of my previous one-on-one clients have called in the man of their dreams, having been in toxic relationships for their whole lives. This methodology has also helped women to have the audacity to pack up their life, quit their job, and go traveling for a year. It has also created families because what we learn as well is when the gut is out of balance, when the body's out of balance, that also affects fertility. Right? This methodology has also helped get libidos back. It started side hustles, and it all comes from this reclamation of self, right? And it's not a lot of people come in and they might be like, "Oh, it's too woo." But it's like what we do is we blend the science with the spiritual, the somatic, the woo with the work. Because that was my missing piece for such a long time. So, what I really want to do right now is set this scene for you. And some of you may know this. Some of you have seen these images before of what life used to look like for me. And some of you are brand new to this. So, let me just pop you here. So, this was me. Oh, I get emotional just looking at this. This was my life in about 2018, 2019. And I was working as an event producer. I was working 14 hours a day. I was on the go consistently. And I was dealing with chronic bloating. This was me after I had a piece of bread. Or I'd come home and I would just explode. This was me somewhere on holidays. This was me having to get an IV drip of antispasm medications because I had 6 stomach ulcers. This is what my day to day looked like. I had a pen in hand, pen and paper. I was, on my laptop. I was on the phone. I was constantly in this mode of doing, achieving, right? Because I couldn't stop. My skin was all breaking out. This is me and my hubby. This was me in hospital getting, a colonoscopy, gastroscopy. I was actually on air here because they were pumping me with so many meds because I had 6 stomach ulcers at the time. And this was my life. I also here, if you can see in this photo here, I'm actually wearing glasses because my eyesight was no good because I was so exhausted. And this was so key for me because I was just like, I was the one that was going and really kind of pushing in terms of the medical system. I was like, I need another test. Give me another antibiotic. What is going on? Give me the thing. Give me the thing that's going to get rid of it. Right? And I was just relentless. I was like, give me the freaking thing. But what I didn't realize was like I was living in completely the wrong way. And when my moment landed, and when I speak to magic and I speak to the woo, like, oh, my moment landed in 2020 during COVID. And the world went silent, right? We were all indoors. And I was on my balcony, and this was a few months after I had been put on all of these acid blockers, these PPIs, because of the stomach ulcers, and I had antibiotics for my skin. I had all these creams, all the things. And I remember I was literally, I said to Dave, I was like, I'm going to go do a yoga practice because I had just started getting into the wellness space at that time. And I was just starting to be like, ooh, what's the buzz with this, right? And I said to him, I'm going to go do yoga on the balcony. And I remember I had finished my yoga practice and I was sitting there. And I sat there on my cushion overlooking my buildings in the marina in Dubai, and I burst into tears. And it was like divine intervention when it was literally just like, Tia, what are you doing with your life? And like, this gives me goosebumps when I speak to this right now, because it's like, without that moment, I would not be here. And it was at that moment that I came out and I had tears flowing down my face, and I was just like, I have to change. Something has got to give. And I came out to my hubby and I was just like, babe, I have to leave my job. I have to heal. I need to create time for healing. And what subsequently happened after that was I went into such burnout because I hadn't stopped for so many years that I couldn't get out of bed for 3 or 4 months because I was so emotionally exhausted and I hit rock bottom. And now we scroll forward to where I'm at now. And when you look at the elation, when you look at how I am a completely different human being in these photos, it should really instill so much belief and confidence within yourself that, like, this is what life actually gets to be like. So this is me, my in the top left-hand corner, my best friend asked me to be the MC for her wedding. And I didn't, I didn't even think twice. I was just like, boom, yes, please. And I love that I have my hand placed on my gut there, because it was such an experience of like, hey, yeah, we've got this. It was this real sense of like, I have brought my light back and now I'm gonna fricking shine. Me and my hubby, we got married 2 years ago. And I just love this because it shows my softness and how much I've managed to soften since being that hardcore, people-pleasing, perfectionist event producer to the softer woman that you see here. This was me in Bali traveling alone for several weeks, and I was invited onto the radio to speak about this methodology that I'm going to teach you guys. And I also realized that we are definitely going to go over the hour, guys. Because I'm just gonna pour. I'm just like, I'm gonna over deliver today. Last week, this was me, and like when we speak about the magic that happens when we start to tune into our physical bodies, and I'm gonna speak to this piece today as well. Is I was sitting in the airport like last week, and I was watching a masterclass from one of my mentors, and she was talking about abundance. And I was just like, ooh, yes, I love this. My phone pings, oh, you just got a free upgrade to business class. And I was like, sorry? And then as I'm sitting on the plane, my phone bings and a $3,000 sale comes in. And I'm just like, holy mother. Because when we start to focus on all of the things that are going well, we become a match for something different. I also was the gal that was gluten, dairy, fucking everything free. Right? I could eat a lettuce leaf. I was a gluten-free vegan for years, and I would look at a croissant and I'd be like bloated. And now here's me in reintroducing pizza and still being able to dive into not being bloated and not having all of these issues in my system, right? Where is the chat? I want to see if I can see the chat. Oh, I don't know if I can. Let me just see if I can stop screen. Let me know if this is landing for you guys. Let me know if you're just like, yes, I can see myself in your journey. Oh my God, like I'm loving this. This is so good. This is so juicy. Oh, and like one of the biggest pieces for me is like, this isn't a prescription, it's a reclamation. We're all done with the prescriptions. Every single one of you is like, I'm done. I'm done with getting the, oh, take this, oh, take that. It's like, no. Yeah, two different humans, right? It's like, what am I going to be like in a year's time? Right? And it's like when we start to be like, ooh, right? And we're going to speak to this piece as well in terms of the be do have. It's incredible how we can shapeshift, because 99% of the population, they don't have what it takes to do this work. We are the 1% of women that are like, fuck yes. Get me in the room. Show me what I need to do, right? Put me in the spaces and magic starts to unfold. And I always speak to this as well with my clients, who some of you are in this space, is like by process of osmosis, right? It's like if I put myself in the room with someone who has what I desire, it starts to rub off on us, right? Because we're like, oh my God, okay, this is juicy. So I wanted to show you the lovely Ali, who was one of my one-on-one clients. Now, when she joined my world, God, when I tell you that she was so hesitant to join, because she was just like, hey, babe, like I've done all the things. She was just like, I don't think this is going to work. So she came to me and she had irregular poops. She was, being supported by laxatives. She used to have runny poops. Then she would suffer with constipation. She had brain fog. She had acne on her face, chest, back. Like, as women, that's a big thing for us, and that was a really big thing for me. And bloating, gas, gets stuck in her small intestine, headaches that lead to migraines, frequent yeast infections, bladder infections, and then going through these cycles of really bad indigestion and acid reflux. And what I want to preface here is like, I worked with her in 2023, right? I'm just looking at the chat here. Incredible. Oh, love you, Trisha. And she sent me this message, this picture of her like a couple of weeks ago. And this was the pillars of mastery we're going to work through today. And she just sent me this picture. I don't know where she is. She's on the Amalfi Coast, or she's somewhere. Like, this looks like the bougiest place in the world. And she's sporting her gorgeous white bikini, and she just feels so confident in her body. And she's sipping on a mocktail, and she's reintroduced all the foods. And she's just like, holy hell, Tia. Like, this is the life that I have wanted to lead for so long. And she's like, can you help me to get there? And it's not just about the physical, it's about how we feel in the process of it, right? And so this was her, T and the team are a dream to work with. 20 years of dealing with symptoms. Why the heck did I wait for so long? Right? And it's like, she's naturally pushed me to be the best version of myself mentally and physically, right? What a life-changing experience. And I have to loll at being like, so many people thought that she's on a Ozempic, because she just, when your body is in this state of like, oh, I'm at peace with myself again, like things just shift, right? The body just changes. And so just a few more results to back this methodology before I dive into the juice is one of our previous clients who was inside of metamorphosis. She went from 8 years of chronic health issues, gluten, lactose intolerance, countless tests with the doctor, 13 plus health symptoms, to today where have zero issues, completely healed, can eat everything, and living life as the best version of herself. Like, that just gives me so much life, because it's like, I went through absolute hell so I could create this methodology for you guys. I walked so you guys could run. And what you guys can do in the space of several months is something that took me 6 years to do. And I just am obsessed with the fact that We live in this day and age where we have these amazing opportunities, these coaching experiences available to us, right? And putting on a tank top and I could see my shape again. I don't feel like a tree anymore. Like to think that she felt like a tree is beyond me. And another one of our clients, Tara, has just said, that she had never really invested in herself. And she wished that she had done it sooner in terms of her growth and her health, right? And she was just living with things that were just normal. How many of us just are like, oh, yeah, it must be normal. Ah, that, cool, I'll just do that. And I see that everywhere. I see women everywhere that are really just in this season of like, oh, well, I'm just getting older. So that just must be it. Oh, I'm in my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, whatever. And it's like, well, actually, no. And I'm going to speak to the key areas now. Let me know if all of this is landing. Type landing in the chat if we are starting to get some little ding ding dings. Love it. Landing. So good. So, so good. Okay, juicy. So we've seen Ali's transformation. You've seen my transformation. And now I really want to speak to now I really want to speak to the pillars of mastery that we go through. Right? And we're going to go through a little practice as well. But the very first one, which I'm going to speak to, we have 5 pillars. So the 5 pillars are the nervous system. We have identity work. We have nutrition. We have functional labs and we have detoxing. And these are the 5 key areas in which we really want to be looking at, okay, well, where am I at with everything? Right? Because one of the things that you'll find with me and my world is, yes, I am big into the emotional world. I'm big into the identity work and the nervous system work and so on and so forth. But I'm also really big into if we have an active gut infection or if we're not clearing toxins out of our body, we have to be dealing with that. So it's like a top-down bum-up approach, right? We have to be looking at how our brains are affecting our gut and how our gut is affecting our brain. And this I speak to in terms of the mind-gut connection. And 80% of the signals that we receive from our brain are coming from our body. 80%, right? And so that all comes through conversations via the vagus nerve. And we've got these gut microbes that are like, hey, yo, I'm a bit out of balance. And so if I'm out of balance, I'm going to send signals to the brain. And this is when we start becoming unproductive. This is when we start, being anxious. This is when we start, overthinking things and we can't concentrate on things, right? That's huge. And so many of us just think, oh, well, there just must be something wrong with me. But we have to be looking at that piece of, okay, well, is there toxicity within the system that is also triggering things mentally, emotionally, right? And so one of the things that I love to say, and I have my notes here, guys, is we can't digest food when the body is in this system of feeling like it's running away from a tiger, right? And so when we speak to the nervous system, now a lot of people think that the nervous system work is just like doing 1 minute of breath work a day. And we don't actually understand that it's a way of life. We actually have to shift who we are as a human. And this ties in with the identity piece as well, in order for us to be able to see results, right? So I love to say this piece as well is like we actually have to digest our life. If we are not digesting our food properly, we're not actually digesting our life and our life's experiences. Because if we look at the preface and the methodology of like, okay, well, if I'm trying to digest my food, but I'm somewhere else, I'm not on this planet in terms of like my attention, or I'm thinking about all my to-dos and I'm not being actually in my physical body, then we're turning off our ability to digest our food. Right? So it's so, so important that we look at that piece And this is one of the key pieces that we look at as well, in terms of like, we can do as many cleanses and detoxes as we want to. We can take the probiotics, the supplements, the things. But if we actually don't understand how to consistently regulate and bring ourselves back in terms of the nervous system, what's going to happen then is we repeat that cycle, because then our stress levels cause the body to fall out of balance again. And then we go into that loop again. And then we reinfect again. Right? And so this is why it's so key that we look at this really big piece of like, well, I've had so many women that had landed into my spaces that have said to me, I've worked with a functional medicine doctor, Tia. I've gone and done the supplements and the cleanses, like, and someone told me to cut out all these foods. And it's like, okay, cool, but like, how are you actually showing up in life? Are you that woman that's like flying around the place? Are you the woman that you saw in that pictures of me, where I was there and I was just like, go, 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 go. The woman that doesn't stop. Right? And I was even having this conversation with my brother today. I was so lucky. My mom and dad surprised me. I haven't seen my brother in 2 years, and they flew him over and surprised me, which was so, so lovely. And I was sitting and having a chat with my brother today, and we talked about how the majority of people, like, they stay busy all the time because they can't sit with themselves. Because when we sit with ourselves, we're no longer distracted and we don't like what we see. Because we actually have to look at, ooh, woo, okay, well, when there's nothing distracting me, I have to look at the amount of emotions I've buried for so many years. And I love to think of it in this way, like, and what's so funny is my brother, like, he's completely different to me, and he'd be very much like, yeah, we just brush them off. And I'd be like, no, we learn to process them, right? And we learn to be able to extract the nuggets out of it. Because we cannot. It's impossible for us to move through life and completely squash these emotions without coming off unscathed. Because when I look at like those pieces of the puzzle for me and the woman that I was being, I developed the tendencies of people pleasing and perfectionism. And that was developed because of adoption. I was adopted at 6 weeks old. And so my nervous system from that age learned that, oh, we're not safe. Someone's going to leave us. And my mom and dad are incredible human beings. They are my bestest friends in the world. They really are. I love them to pieces. But I look at like, okay, well, before I came to them, I had this big wound. And I then developed this beingness where I just became like, oh my God, okay, well, I have to make sure that I'm perfect. Because if I'm not perfect, I'm going to be left. Right? And I know that this is so huge. And I know that some of you who have joined this who like just thought you were probably going to be told to eat your greens. Like, it's so huge, right? Because it's like, wow, we have to look at that piece of the puzzle where it's like, well, if our nervous system is still wired towards like, must keep going, must keep doing, must keep it pleasing, must be we're up here, right? We're up here. And healing happens down here. Right? Yes, we go up and down. We're supposed to. We're not supposed to be flatlined. We're supposed to be like, ooh, fight or flight. Ooh, I'm chilled now. Ooh, fight or flight. Now I'm chilled, right? We're supposed to do this. But the majority of us, we go up and then we go zzz, and we spend life up here, right? And we've never actually learned to come back down. I want to briefly show you, and I've shown this to so many of my clients as well, is this incredible chart, which is the nervous system, right? And like, we're going to just briefly touch on this piece, but I find this polyvagal theory the most insightful thing in the world when it comes to this piece, right? Because like the very first thing that happens in this piece of the puzzle is digestion, right? So if we want to be able to fire that gastro, we've got to be able to come back into the green. Right? And so what we want to be able to do is like, okay, we're in green right now. Because I guarantee you, so many of you right now are like curious, you're open, you're going, what's this chick talking about? Right? We're in this social engagement, we're calm, right? We feel like we're listening and we're understanding, right? And for me right now, I'm going to be in a mix of both. I'm going to be in fight or flight and I'm going to be in social engagement, right? Because I'm presenting, I'm moving, I'm speaking, I'm expressing, right? And I'm teaching. And so part of my system is in fight and flight because I'm activated, and then part of my system is still in the green because I'm connecting, I'm doing something I love, right? I'm being in the moment, I'm being present. But what happens for so many of us is we go into fight or flight and we stay here. And sometimes we go and we tip into freeze. So, for any of you that find that you can kind of numb out, you can dissociate, you can shut down, I've also seen a lot of women that, like, when they come into my world and they've spent years trying to heal, they've kind of dissociated. They've kind of gone, oh, I've tried everything. They're in this space of like, wow, I'm not sure how to move down. I'm not sure how to come back down, right? Because they've spent so long that then their nervous system is so fried, so that we end up then in this state of burnout where we're so fatigued. And so what we really want to be able to do is notice that juicy deactivation. And this doesn't mean just binge watching Netflix and scrolling, right? It means that we start to come back down by using our bodies to regulate our nervous systems, or we use another human to co-regulate us. So for me, like, my husband's a huge co-regulator for me. If I ever find that I'm in this state where I'm just like, woo, I'm activated, right? Then if I can't bring myself back down, I will go to him and he will help bring me back down. And so this is the beauty of partnerships that also can really help regulate our nervous systems. So the as one of my mentors says, she's like, the invitation is in the activation. So when we start to be activated, when we start to feel it in our system of like, whoa, I'm starting to get like stressed, or I'm starting to I have this feeling that I need to go, right? Like, how many of you have gone into this state where like you sit down and then you're like, I need to do something. I need to do something. I don't like sitting still, right? And that is because we've been activated for so long. So let me know how this is landing, my queenie bees. What is coming up for you guys? Drop it in the chat. What we're going to do is I actually want to drop you guys into a state of the green zone. So I really want to show you because, a really big part of my work now has become somatics. For a really, really long time, I pedestaled the lab tests and the supplements. And then I started to realize that, wow, there's so much more in terms of this nervous system piece and in terms of the woman that we are showing up in day-to-day life as, right? And so let me just check the chat. Yeah, polyvagal theory is magic. Who else has got some juice? Amazing stuff. Yeah, so good, Trisha. So good. I love it. And I want to drop you guys into your body before we start working on the other kind of key elements, because like this piece of the puzzle is just so huge. So huge. And those of you who have been in my world, like, feel free to drop it in the chat, like what's changed for you guys, by starting to understand these pieces and starting to really kind of land into, okay, well, my nervous system is king, it's king. And so many of us, like, we really haven't mastered that, and we're going to really be mastering that for the rest of our lives, because we're going to get triggered, things are going to come up in our world, but it is how we hold ourselves then as we move through things. And so what I'd really love to do is let's make this interactive. So I want to drop you guys into your bodies. I'm going to play some music. We're going to drop into the body so that you can really feel what it feels like to be in that state of regulation. And then I might like ask a few questions, right? So if you've got like a pen and paper, you got a pen and paper, or if you can like even jot them down on your phone or something, just so that we can look at, okay, what might be coming up, right? Then that would be juicy. So just let me share my computer audio. And we're going to work on a little bit of breath work, everyone, because I want to show you how easy it is to be able to land back into our bodies. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do box breathing, which is we inhale for a count of 4. We hold the breath for a count of 4. We exhale for a count of 4, and we hold the breath for a count of 4. Don't worry, I will guide you. I want to make sure that you guys can hear my music as I speak as well. So just let me hit play. Can you guys hear me and the music at the same time? Just... Oh, yeah. Okay, everybody, just taking a moment, closing down the eyes, landing into this seat. Feeling the weight of the body from a visceral. Really landing your chair. Feeling the feet firmly planted. Gravity starting to pull. A moment to scan through the body. Aware of see if you can start to soften down your shoulders, your jaw. Now together as a collective, is the most powerful energy. All taken in. And then exhale. One more like that. Together we're inhaling through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath for 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath out for 4, 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 4. Holding for 4. Exhaling for 4. And holding for 4. In for 4. Hold the breath for 4. Exhaling. In. Hold. Hold. Out. 3 more rounds by yourself into that rhythmic state breath. And if you find the mind starts to wander, just allowing yourself to come back to that ratio. In 4, hold 4, out 4, and hold 4. And when you finished your third round, allowing yourself to come back to the breath rhythm that feels natural to you. And taking a moment to really
get you to do one thing.
ask yourself the question of,
I would say when you get to the point
who am I being right now?
really feel highly
Listen,
motivated,
listen to how the body starts to react.
just towards
And
keeping it,
who do I want to be?
then you'll discover quite quickly just how extraordinary
Can you allow
the
yourself
life
just
you
for this
live
moment to
can
start to
be.
drink in the wisdom of your body? Your body will respond to you in subtle sensations, in symptoms, until we start to listen. And we start to notice
It's
this
just what
deeper
you can
sense of
notice.
calmness that is alive in your
It's not
system.
that we're doing lots of wrong things, but our mind is so messy. We don't keep it simple.
This
And,
deeper
and
sense of being.
we end up making the life that we're living so inordinately complicated and completely unnecessarily. And it's such a
Allowing
shame
ourselves
to
to
end up
really just
feeling
anchor
in a
into
muddle when
this
actually
present moment, because
we're eternally
realistically, that's
present.
all that we have. Your body, this moment, the sensations that are alive within it, the rise and fall of your breath. This is the state that healing happens. This state
It
that
doesn't
you are
actually
in
take
right
very much
now
to
is what
make
happens
the deepest part of us incredibly
where the
clear.
cells start to
You know, just to be here, just to appreciate,
heal,
to appreciate
where
being here,
digestion is turned back on.
to feel that you're
What I
alive,
invite you to do is visualize
feel
right
that
now
you
this
are. That's it.
healing of light around
That's
your
it.
entire body right now, just a bubble from the tip of the head all the way down to the soles of the feet. Just take a few moments to just bask in this healing bubble around you.
It takes mindfulness to come to human life.
Can you soften?
And then above
Can
that,
you
it takes
listen?
mindfulness and virtue to come to a fortunate human life.
Can you, for this moment, be fully open and receptive to what is here? And for some of us, it's going to feel like discomfort when we stop. For some of us, sadness might be here. For some of us, joy might be here. For some of us, anger might be here. Can we welcome it all? We're human beings.
The chance to be part of this
We're
happens
supposed to
constantly.
feel every spectrum
The
of emotion.
invitation is not to show how inventive and imaginative you are, but how much you can notice.
Staying connected just for another few minutes, ladies. Let yourself really
and
listen.
appreciate it and share it and care about those that are around. Look out for their welfare while you're looking out for your own. That's it. And then you'll get to the end of it having had a awesome time, knowing that that was something you'd recommend to others. You all know this place inside where it's all right. You all know that when you let the ego go, it's not this black hole that you drop into. You all know it. Why can't you do it? Yeah, the world is creaking under the strain of this enormously complicated mass of humanity. And actually, it's really simple. When you came here with a sense of awe and
Body
wonder,
wisdom, which is
dying to
today.
see what it's all about.
We've only just scratched the surface. But for so many of us, this gives us a real insight into what's actually alive within us. And so slowly just moving the fingers and the toes, starting to wake the body up and coming back into the space. And I would love for anybody to drop in the chat how you're feeling now. Was that confronting? Was that delicious? Was it, ooh, confusing? What? Was it calm? Did you feel into that state of being in the green? You've melted. Oh, yes. Oh, God, this work. I'm obsessed. Oh my God, D. Utterly incredible and so powerful, right? Like, ladies, we forget our power. We forget our magic, our power that we were put on this planet for. We weren't put here to be walking to-do lists. We were put here to tap into this frequency. Can you imagine if we tapped into this even once a day? Calm, centered, chill. Right, D? Woo! Grounded, calm, at peace, connected to beingness. This is where our aliveness lies. We as women were like, fuck, I want to feel more alive. I want to feel like, I don't want to just be eat, sleep, work, repeat. I want to feel like I'm in the moment. I want to feel like I'm living this life. This is the magic. Yeah. Yeah, it made me realize I don't know how to relax. Oh my God, Diana, yes. But like, can we celebrate that? Can we celebrate that you've gone, holy moly, I don't know how to fully be in my body because we haven't learned how to be in our bodies. We've learned how to be here. Ta-da! We've learned how to be walking, talking, freaking let's go. I'm overthinking this. I'm overthinking that. I've got to be perfect at this. But it's like, poof. We cut ourselves off at the neck. And we have cut off more than half our whole body, basically. Because so many of us go, no, this isn't safe because we've learned in childhood that like, oh, well, if I'm connected to this, I have to be open, I have to be vulnerable. And we don't like that. So we go, no, I'm gonna live here. and I'm going to be in my anxiety spirals, and I'm going to be in my to-do mode, and I'm going to be zing, and we forget that the magic is here and the healing is here, right? And yes, we dive into the detoxing, which we're going to speak to, and the lab testing and all the juiciness of this. But it's like the journey is the journey from the head to the heart, right? I find box breathing to give me the ick a little while I'm doing it. Like I need out of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I feel I've finished and I feel calm and present for myself. Yeah, like that was totally me for a really long time. Aoife was just like any of these nervous system practices, I'd be like, oh God. And my brain would create that story around, no, Tia, we don't need this. Right? We don't need this. We're cool. We're fine. Because as I'm going to speak to today as well, in terms of the identity shifting, I love how we're an hour in already and I've got one of the things done. Sauce, guys, I over deliver. If anyone needs to go, you can go. But if not, stay with me. Um, and it's this real sense of like, it's the brain that's trying to pull us out of it because the brain likes to keep us stuck. The brain likes to keep us in that state of no, this is safe, my identity is safe in who I've created, right? We're walking heads until we learn how to drop back into the body, literally. Yeah, we should trademark that, right? So good. Oh my god, juicy, ladies, so juicy. And so we could go deeper into this piece of the puzzle as well, but I want to move forward into the other parts of the methodology, but like this is such a big piece, and it is the work as well that we do inside of Metamorphosis, which is our group gut healing program. That's not just a gut healing program, like it's healing as the whole woman. Right? It truly is. And so the second key to healing, because yes, we love the somatics, we love diving into that, but we also love the science. And my team, Karen and Miranda, some of you know them, they are absolute powerhouses of women. They have spent their whole careers doing exam after exam in this functional medicine space. They've worked with some of the best functional medicine doctors in the world, right? And so they are part of our team, and they are the wizards when it comes to the scientific piece of, okay, well, the body is out of balance, right? Yes, we know that the woman is also out of balance, but the body is also, the physical body is also out of balance. And so one of the things that we do, to those of you who haven't been in our world, is we test the gut, right? Because we know that the gut is the linchpin for everything when it comes to our hormones, when it comes to our skin, when it comes to our energy levels, when it comes to autoimmunity, when it comes to all of these different things, when it comes to, our weight. Like the gut is everything, hugely. When it comes to our mental health, right? Like I used to be crippled with anxiety, and like healing my gut and learning to come back into my body helped that as well, right? And so inside of our programs, we run a GI map, which is a specific test. And for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to give you a little snippet of what is actually inside this, because so many people aren't aware of this, right? So many of us are like, what the hell is this? I didn't even know that this existed because I've done all the tests, right? And so this is the test that you actually really need if you are dealing with these hectic, you know, physical symptoms, but also mental and emotional. And so what we test is we look for things like E. coli, we look at Candida, which is a big one, we look at H. pylori, which is huge. We look at like dysbiosis in the body, which is an imbalance in the bacteria. And when we have an imbalance in the bacteria in the body, then we're going to be out of balance, right? If the gut microbes that are sending signals from the gut to the brain are out of balance, we're going to be out of balance, right? So we have to be looking at that key piece of the puzzle. Oh my God, everyone's dropping off. Oh, I love you guys. Yeah. So good. So good. I should have added an hour and a half in for you guys. But that's okay. We will wrap up soon because I know that everybody has to go and have dinner and do all the things and go to sleep, or I don't know where you are in the world. But I wanted to speak to that key piece because there are so many women that are going to their doctors and they're like, okay, give me the colonoscopy, the gastroscopy, give me the poo test, give me the pee test, give me the everything test. And it comes back and it's like, oh, you're fine, you just have IBS. And it's like, I call bullshit, right? Because when we have had clients that have come, into our worlds that have said, I've done everything and I'm skeptical about this. And then it's like, zing! It's like there are a lot of markers that are off that we can see, whether it's SIBO or Candida, or we have clients that have been riddled with mold toxicity as well, that we breathe in and it stays stored in our body. And so we have to be looking at that piece of the puzzle of like, you know, not like that. It's power. Knowledge is power when it comes to, okay, well, here's where we're off on a physical lens, right? But also we know, as we've speaked about, where are we off in the emotional lens and the woman that we're choosing to be, right? The other key piece of the puzzleino, is nourishment, right? Again, we get caught up in the fads. We get caught up in intermittent fasting. We get caught up in gluten-free, dairy-free, veganism, freaking low FODMAP, freaking I'm going to pull everything out of my diet and eat air. We get caught up, right? Claire, you're laughing, but I was that woman. I was a gluten-free vegan. I didn't even eat soy. And so I was sitting down and I saw something like 48 kilos. I was like this, right? I was deceased. I looked like a skeleton because I was like, no, I have to eat in a way that's like, gonna help my gut. But helping my gut was also eating protein, was also eating that steak, was also helping my body to rebuild its nutrients. And so many of us, we walk through life and like nutrition really is kind of the stepping stone into the gut healing world, right? And if any of you are like, oh, I want to dive into this more, like ping me on Instagram. Easy as fuck eats is amazing as like an entryway into, how to create meals that are actually really going to start sustaining you and help your hormones and help your body to start healing. Because from that perspective as well, when we look at our whole bodies and our whole system, we have to look at, how can we give ourselves the nourishment that we need, the nutrition that we need? Because a lot of us again think we can supplement our way, and we're like, oh no, I don't need to do that, I'll just take my vitamin C and blah, blah, blah. And we forget that like we become what we're digesting, right? So the food piece, but also all the other gunk, right? So we have to look at that key piece of the puzzle as well in terms of like, okay, how can I really start like creating meals that are going to like sustain me, but not just sustain me? And I really hate the concept in the fitness world of like food is fuel. Like you're not a car. You know what I mean? We're human. We want to thrive. We're not there to just keep going, right? We need to be able to learn how to eat and like turn on and off inflammation in the body, so that we, by eating in a specific way, and guys, I am all for introducing all of the foods again. Like as many of you know, like I used to deprive and restrict myself so much, and now I live a life where I will eat the donut, where I will eat the cheeky croissant. Today I had a delicious sandwich, and like I will, which had mayonnaise on it, heaven forbid, and like I also am a walking contradiction in some of these ways, because the past version of me used to demonize gluten. Me several years ago, I used to be like, gluten's the devil, it will kill you. And now I'm like, hey, no, we're cool, because I've also supported my nervous system in that piece of the puzzle and realized that it was who I was. I had created an identity around that, which is another piece of the puzzle that we're going to speak to now. I had created a story around who I was. And this is a nice little segue into number 4, which is our identity work of what are your current beliefs about your body, right? What are your current beliefs about your health? What are your current beliefs about earning money, about all of these things? Because for a really, really long time, I believed, and I created this narrative around, yeah, I'm the gluten-free girl with the gut issues, and my friends have to pack gluten-free treats for me all the time. And I was receiving attention and love and sympathy from being the one that had all of these issues. And I had to look at this identity piece and be like, okay, you know, am I perpetuating that narrative? You know, when we speak to this piece of like, I have acne, I have gut issues, I am always tired, I da 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 da, and we take ownership of it. Of course, it's not going to leave us, right? When it comes to the mental level, when it comes to like our brains are always listening. And when it comes to this piece of like what we can speak stuff into reality. We can very much be like, oh yeah, well, I have this. And one of the things that I say now is I'm available for things to escalate in my favor today. And like I was saying that the morning that business class upgrade game, that new client signed, right? And I'm just like, wow, we are co-creators of our own reality. And so I want each and every one of you to look at this key piece as well as like, what narrative are you playing? What narrative is in your head, right? Is it, oh no, I can't do that. I can't have that. Oh no. Oh, I would never do that. Oh, it won't work for me. Or, oh no, I have this, therefore it's not going to go. Or, I'm always going to have this. Oh no, I can't afford it. Oh no, maybe next year I'll do that. Right? It's like our life's happening right now. Right? And we have to be ballsy enough to be able to look at like, okay, well, who am I being? And what's the identity that I've bought into? Right? Type landing in the chat if you're just like, yes, this is making sense. Because when I figured this piece out, I was just like, this has blown my brains out. Because I very much was like, I created this narrative around the suffering and I accepted it as reality. I was like, oh, this is just the way it has to be. Right? When actually it doesn't. But it takes us having to move through life in a different way. Yeah. Yeah. Took a really long time for me too, Claire, to be able to look at that piece of like, well, who am I being? Who am I being? And I was like, what does that even mean? It's like, well, how am I choosing to show up? Am I choosing to look at all of the things that are going wrong in my life and going down into that spiral, that rabbit hole, that, oh, woe is me? Or am I choosing to spiral up and being like, okay, I see where I'm at right now, but I'm actually going to go that way? And it's hard. It is hard because we have to see ourselves in our own shit and we have to be like, oh, okay, I'm going this way. We have to meet resistancy. And this is why so many people stay stuck because they're like, boom, resistancy comes up. Oh no, I'm not going to go. But when the resistancy comes up, we're like, ooh, okay, it's a face off. I'm literally about to create a program called Unshakable where I'm going to talk about this. Healing is a game of you versus you versus your brain, right? It's going to be insane because we're going to be speaking to this piece as well of like, wow, okay, well, when we do meet resistancy and when something does feel a bit sticky and when we don't have the evidence yet, how are we going to lead ourselves, right? So, example, like I invest in myself like the future version of myself. I put myself in rooms with people that have what I want and it starts to rub off. Right? So I'm always coming from this lens of like, if I'm making a decision for something, how can I make a decision based on the version of me that's ahead of me? So for some of you right now, if you're, really stuck kind of in the the depths of your symptoms and like you're like, oh, I really want that and I want to feel the energy, I want to feel the things. It's like you have to ask yourself, okay, well, that version of you that has all of that, like how would she be leading herself? Right? And what I see so often as well, and like, is we've forgotten how to lead ourselves because we've never been taught how to lead ourselves. And that practice that we just did, ladies, all of you felt a shift in your energy. You felt this groundedness within yourself, and that's your leadership. That's the part of you that's gone out of here and that out of the story and into like, boom, okay, now I'm moving forward, right? So let's look at this piece of the puzzle. Once I have the health, the energy, the peace that I want, then I'll do the things that the healthy people. Right? We have to do the be, do, and have. So a lot of people are like, well, when I have the thing, then I'll be happy. Right? When I have the thing, then I'll join that. Then I'll do that. Then I'll go and have the trip of a lifetime or whatever, right? But it's like, if we're constantly moving from that place of where we're at, then we're never going to get there because we're going to be stuck in that same narrative. So, I'll be confident once I have a perfect body, or once I've lost those 5 kilos, or once I've whatever. No, you be fucking confident now. And then you start to bend time towards it, right? Because you start showing up as who you want to be. If you started moving with the level of confidence that you really actually wanted and you desired, man, you'd be a different human, right? Because you would take action in a different way. And so when we're constantly putting I'll be happy when, it delays healing because we're waiting for our circumstances to change before actually embodying the qualities that create the change. Is that landing? Let me say that again. If we're not coming at it from the be, do, have, we are waiting for our circumstances to change before we embody the qualities that actually create change. So each and every one of us, we want to change. We might want to change in our health. We might want to change in our life. We might want to change in our financial whatever, right? We want more money. We want more joy. We want more sex. We want more everything, right? But we have to move like the person that already has it, right? We have to move. So we embody the mindset, the identity that we want right now, even if we still feel like we're in pain or that we're not worthy enough or that we whatever, right? And then we practice taking actions from that state of being. So then we go, okay, well, if I was super healthy, if I had my dream life, how would I be showing up? What would be different? For some of you, I know some of you in this space, like you want to start your side hustle or you want to quit your job or you want to do something different, right? Or you want to heal your bodies or you want to, I don't know, call in the man of your dreams or whatever. It's like, what if you already kind of came at it from that lens of like, okay, who would I be if I already had that? And then we start moving from that place. So for example, if we were, doing the healing piece, it's like, okay, you'd start maybe moving your body. You'd start maybe eating your nourishing foods. You'd start maybe doing that practice that we did today, as the future version of you. Because when I think of like the future version of me, I'm like, oh, damn, there's loads of things. And now I have to reverse engineer the process, right? Because when we're constantly working with that narrative of like, I have this, I have this, I have this, we become it. We've reversed engineered the be, do, have. And if we're constantly being like, I have no energy. Oh, I have these symptoms. I have whatever. We become, it creates our identity. Oh, like, drop what's landing in the chat, ladies. Because I'm obsessed with this. One of the things that I love to say is like, we cannot be the woman who heals if we still show up as the woman who got sick in the first place. Right? And having supported, 250 people through this program, there have been clients that come into the space and they don't move and it doesn't work for them. And there are clients that come in with a tenacity about them that's just like, fuck yes. And they are the ones that see enormous results because they're reverse engineering the process. They put themselves in the room with people, with me, with others that are doing what they want, and they start to learn from that. Right? So much love for this. Oh my God, so many aha moments. Yes, else. So good. So I want you guys to take 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. I want you to think about right now, what's your be, do, have? Right? Because what will happen is if we don't do this now, you'll be like, oh, that was a nice thing. And then you won't do it. So, like, when we think about the version, and I know Aoife, you said that you went off on an amazing trip and you were just like, yes, what the bee do have, I wanted to go on the Camino. And so you did it, right? And that's amazing. And so for those of you that are still here and still live with us, and those of you who are watching the replay, because we have like something like 60 women that have joined this who are watching all over the world, is like, write it down and message me on Instagram in terms of like, what is it that we really want to change the narrative of? Who have you currently being? Who are you currently being versus who do you want to be? Right? Sit with that. I can see there's a lot of brains churning right now. I feel like there's not a lot of typing and there's a lot of churning and there's a lot of contemplation. I need to do in order to have, so I change who I be. It's I need to change who I be, have different habits, mindsets, and that's supported through what I do. Yes, babe. Yes. So for example, like if I wanted to, become like a huge industry leader, I would put myself in the rooms with people who are already industry leaders, which is exactly what I've just done. I invested $28,000 in a mastermind, and I'm going to Denver at the end of this month in a space full of leaders. And I'm like, I am going to attune my nervous system to that frequency of like, how are these women moving? Right? Who are they being? How do they show up? Because I want to get my ass on that stage. I've been on stages before, but I want to go bigger. Right? Because my message is so important. And so many of us now, we're dreamers, but we're not actually allowing ourselves to dream because we're afraid. We're afraid. And so we have to be looking at that like resistancy piece and that be do have piece, which will probably take everyone a while to digest it because it's a big chunk. Right. Okay, moving on to our final piece, which is the detox. Oh my God, it is 10 to 7 over here. I have been yapping for nearly an hour and a half. But I just feel so energized by you guys. This is so good. This is so good. Poor Els is in darkness there. It's like nighttime there. She's probably like, would you hurry up so I can go to bed? So then we go into the final stage of our methodology, which is the detox. And as I mentioned, our team are wizards at this piece of the puzzle. We have tested, and now we go into the physical detox where it's like, okay, well, what's out of balance? What do we need to replace? And we move through this in 3 key phases. We move through this in the phase of, well, we have to rebuild the body first, rebuild the immune system first. This is the piece of the puzzle that most naturopaths and functional medicine doctors don't actually do. They'll just go straight into kill and they won't actually look at, okay, well, how's the immune system functioning? How is the body functioning? How much energy have we got in our system? Like, what's happening there? So in our first phases, we really look at like, okay, let's rebuild the body so that we can rebuild the tenacity in our system to fly. And then we go into cleanse and we go into detox and we start killing off the microbes that are potentially, or actually, no, not potentially, that are causing a lot of these symptoms, right? That have housed themselves in our body. So we've got the bacteria, we've got the fungus, we've got the mold, we've got all the things. And we start cleansing things out through the body. And we start using these beautiful detox pathways that we actually have in our systems, which is our colon, our liver, which is our cells, which is our lymph, right? So we need to be moving this beautiful body of ours. We need to be pooping so that we can actually get everything out of the system, because so many of us, we wonder, like we might get constipated or we might have diarrhea and we then feel shit because we're like, oh, like what's happening? It's like if we're blocked up, all those toxins are still in our system and they come out in the physical body. Maybe they come out as like exhaustion or brain fog or skin problems or low energy or PCOS or these sorts of things, right? And then we look at like the other side of the spectrum. If we're going too much, it means you're not actually digesting your food. It means we're not actually able to absorb the nutrients from it, and then we feel depleted, right? And so we have to be looking at like, okay, well, what's actually caused the inability for the body to actually process our nourishment, our food, our ability to take in what we're eating, right? So this is kind of the five key phases. So we've got the nervous system, which every single one of us knows is so crucial, but so many of us we don't do it. It's hard. It's hard to develop the consistency because we fall back into old patterns, right? And so this is the biggest piece of the puzzle when it comes to really understanding this modality and really understanding how we can heal ourselves is, well, the nervous system is a really big one, and creating that momentum, that consistency, that when we are in those moments we're like, oh, I don't want to do it, I can't be bothered doing it, we do it, right? We do it. We see ourselves in our shizzle and we go, right, okay, let's freaking go, right? And so the nervous system is so key. And then we spoke to the nourishment piece around food and around how we create food and how we really learn to like build a body that can handle all foods, because food sensitivities go in the bin once we've managed to actually look at what the root cause is from the physical and the emotional level, right? And then we moved into, I can't remember what the other piece was. Then we moved into the functional lab testing. For those of you who are new to my world, I sing a lot. I sing my words. So then we move into the functional lab testing, which is where the wizardry happens with Karen and Miranda. And we look then at the identity piece in terms of the be-do have. We look at how we can shapeshift, how we get to become chameleons, how we actually get to go through this metamorphosis. There's a reason why I called our program Metamorphosis, because we go from becoming, we go from our current identity and we move into the chrysalis, we move into the caterpillar or the chrysalis, where we are figuring things out and we're like, oh, what's happening? And we're marinating it. And then at the end of it, we start to emerge. We've grown our wings, right? We've started to really be like, oh, now I'm finding my feet in terms of the identity, in terms of who I am as this new human. Because I mean, those of you who have been through my programs, and Claire, I know that you can massively attest to this, is like, you're a different woman now than you were before. Completely. Right? And oh my god, if you want to take a minute to like speak to that, we would love that. But also if you're chilling, that's so fine. But like that's what happens as we shift, right? We become someone different in the process that has the level of health that we desire, and has it's been a week and my life has already changed. Oh my god. Else totally happy to jump in. Yeah, amazing. Claire, I will unmute you, or you unmute yourself, and feel free to share with the ladies in this space or anybody who is watching this replay, like how metamorphosis has shifted you.
Where to start? I mean, I came into this space because of chronic constipation, random bloating, skin issues, rashes, all the things. And it was actually the bloating and the constipation was like, I'm so sick of this. Like, I can't figure out why it's happening. I can't, assign it to a specific food or whatever. And so I came into this space. And yes, it's the whole, we did the test and we saw my results, and it was actually not that bad from the gut perspective. So, I had to do a lot of nervous system regulation work and identity work and shadow work and talking to little Claire and all the magic stuff. And it's like I was held through this entire process by Tia, by Karen Miranda, by this amazing community. Like if you imagine that you're you're hanging out with your best friends and you're all experiencing the same things, or you're all happy to share what's going on, and there is no shame and there is no fear. It's just, you hang out with the best women for 6 months or however long you want to be in this space. And it's just, I sometimes needed a kick up the butt, and Tia helped me with this. But it's honestly, it's looking at, am I happy the way I'm living? And if not, be brave enough to make a move. That's the whole thing that changed everything for me. And honestly, I was hesitant because when I came in, it was like, you know what is in 6 months, if it doesn't work out, I'm in the same place. I will have wasted my money and my energy, and it would just, it didn't work. And there is no way that you go through this program and you don't change. There's no way. You're not in the same space. And also, when I came in, it was like, should I spend this money on myself? This was quite a chunk for me of money. And then I thought, I'm spending money on shit. Like, there is a difference between just spending money and investing money. Whether that's you buy the sofa, the kitchen, or whatever, there's a long term, gain from this. So why not invest in myself, do this program, and then run with all the lessons I get out of it? And this is, yeah, I love this so much. I really love this program. It's mind blowing. Sorry, I yapped on for a bit.
Oh, we love you, Claire. Oh, I just don't need to say any more, really. Like you've just like you've nailed like there's a heartbeat, I feel like, to this program, to the metamorphosis method, to the community that we've built, because it's not just a space where people come in and they just heal and tick off a bunch of symptoms. You become somebody new, and somebody that's happier, and somebody that has a tenacity to go after their dreams, and really start like shifting on like not just a physical level, but like a cellular level, and you just become somebody completely new. And so, to those of you who are in this space, and to those of you who are watching the replay, if you feel the call to join us inside of Metamorphosis, I would love to have you and to chat to see if this is right, because we never want to take anybody into this space that isn't the juiciest fit, that isn't just like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for years, right? I'm so done with staying in the same position, and I'm so ready to heal from all the shit, that like we've been told is normal, or to come in and embody a different frequency. And so, yeah, if you feel that call, please reach out to me. I would love to invite you into this space and share with you a little bit more about it. But Claire, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for sharing your words of wisdom with everybody. Like, this work, it blows my mind every day, and I love how this program just completely evolves, and how what incredible clients that I get to lead. Like, truly, like every single human that's in my space, like they're amazing women. And so I feel humbled and emotional when I think about you all. So, ladies, that is it from me. It is now, I have been speaking for an hour and a half. I hope that you have got so much goodness from the last 90 minutes together. I wanted to just really pour into this community, because like I love this work. This method has changed so many lives, and it will continue to change lives, especially where I'm planning on taking this business and this brand and this mission, because I feel like so many people need this space. So many women are hedging, or there's so many women are just staying stuck, and it's like there is a space in which you can grow, evolve, transform. And so thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. I love you all so much, and I'm wishing you a gorgeous evening. Bye, guys.